Want a better shift, consider school food service. One of my students, he was the food and beverage director for Universal Studios, and he loved it, but he had a family and his wife was like, well, you're never home and you don't spend time with the kids, so he made a change and became a district manager for school food service, and he loves it. Yeah, he took a cut in pay, but he spends time with his kids, and he really feels like he's making a difference out there. So, again, consider school food service as a possible career. And it's changed. It's not the old lunch ladies with the hairnets, right? It's these new and young food service managers who really want to make a difference out there. So the school food program feeds about 25 million children daily, and this was 10 years ago, so it's probably gone up from that. Good nutrition is the key. And here's the challenge. And some of you were kind of saying this when I was asking you. You've got to figure, it would be real easy to say, okay, pizza every day. Okay? Let's go to Domino's and get pizza every day. Are the kids going to eat that? Well, sure they are. But is it really good nutrition? It's surprising. Did anybody have a salad bar at their school? Yeah. Did you like it?
Yeah, it was really good, all fresh ingredients.
If I were a school food service manager, that's the first thing I would do. For some people, love salad. And especially when you could make it your own and personalize it, man, that's a no-brainer. If you can get kids to eat fruits and vegetables off the salad bar, mission accomplished, right? I love to put my own salad together and garbanzo beans and all that other stuff. And so there are creative ways to get kids not only to eat, but eat good food. Yeah, maybe you do pizza Fridays, Figure out what they'll eat and kind of, what's fairly good nutrition. It doesn't have to be, take out all the salt, take out all the sweet tea and the sugar, but don't give them all crap. Get that balance and go into the classrooms and talk to the kids and talk to them about good nutrition. Okay? You guys are pretty good about that, actually. You eat really well. My son, he's turning 24 this week, so he's your age. When we go out to eat, I just am in awe. He eats so well, and he certainly didn't get it from me because I'm like cheeseburger, pizza, whatever. So, but that's good, and I think some of you probably got the benefit of nutrition classes and learning about it. So school food service, consider that as a career. Colleges and universities, I'm really not going to talk about that because you guys know all that. Here's the one thing I will say though, when we talk about campus dining, and when I went to college, I won't give you the year, but we had just this really nasty, it was just a high school cafeteria, really. And so we would leave campus all the time and go across the way and eat Subway. So these error marks have figured out that we've got to compete. We're not competing against other cafeterias. We're competing against Subway and Burger King and that. And so what they've done is they've embraced the branded concepts. And we talked, there was a Chick-fil-A, the whole Chick-fil-A thing. You go over there, you don't think I'm eating in a college cafeteria. You think I'm eating at a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And so branded concepts, and when I say branded concepts, they will go out and they'll make a deal with Chick-fil-A or they'll make a deal with Wendy's and say, we want to be a franchise. We're going to Taco Bell. We're going to bring in a Taco Bell. We'll run it, we'll operate it, but we'll be a franchisee and you still be a franchisor. And then, of course, campus cards, now meal plans have really allow you a lot of flexibility. I think someone talked about, well, yeah, my mom pays for my meal card and I use the meal card. And so it's very convenient for me to do that. And so that's a good thing because back in the old days it used to be all cash. And there would be days where, oh man, I don't have enough money. If I had my campus card, I could charge it. All right. Healthcare facilities. Now, when we talk about managed food service, there are the big three. These are the big three companies, all right? First one we already know about. They're on our campus, right? Who's that? Sodexo. The second of the big three is Aramark. Okay? Aramark does primarily hospital and healthcare facilities. Okay? But they also, Aramark did the campus food service at the University of Central Florida. Okay? They're based out of Philadelphia. Sodexo, I can't remember where they're based out of. But the third in the big three is this group called the Compass Group. And they're actually based out of Charlotte. Okay? Now, remember I told you it's a contract year? Guess who the three companies that are bidding are? Sodexo, to get it back, Compass, and Aramark. They're all bidding for the South Carolina business. Okay? As well as some smaller companies. But it's always the big three. Now, I want to talk about healthcare facilities and something really interesting. You're going to learn something very interesting today, and it started with healthcare facilities. Okay? I don't think it's any secret to any of you, even if you don't follow the news, healthcare costs have been skyrocketing, and it is a big challenge for us to try to keep healthcare costs down. Premiums, insurance, out-of-pocket expenses, all of those, you do not want to get sick because it's going to cost you a lot of money, even if you have insurance. Okay? So the pressure has always been on healthcare facilities to keep the costs at a minimum, and usually the first place they look at is food service. And so, remember I told you the law of unintended consequences the other day? We talked about that. What's the law of unintended consequences? Someone tell me.
You do something thinking that it would lead to one thing, but it doesn't lead to that at all.
Yeah, exactly. Or something happens, either good or bad, that you had no idea was going to happen. Well, the law of unintended consequences actually came and did something actually pretty cool through healthcare. Okay? And in the old days, let's say here in Columbia, right? In Columbia, for some reason, we got hospitals everywhere. And in the old days, every hospital had its own kitchen staff, its own chef, its own sous chef, its own line cooks. And so let's say there are 8 hospitals in the Columbia area. You had 8 food service staffs out there. Okay. And so they said, how can we save money? Well, we can save money if we have, let me do my hospitals here. I'm going to make it 5 hospitals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hospitals here, okay? And they said, wouldn't it be great if we could just, instead of cooking, a pan of lasagna here, a pan of lasagna there, a pan of lasagna, 5 pans of lasagna at different locations, wouldn't it be great if we could just cook 5 pans of lasagna at one location? One kitchen staff, one executive chef, one food and beverage manager, one dietitian. And so they figured out real quick, well, let's get like a warehouse facility in the middle of all of them, and we'll just cook all our food together and we'll ship it out. Okay? Now, if you haven't seen it already, there's a problem with that. What's the problem?
If you run out, you can't just make more in your kitchen.
And that's one thing, yeah. You got to call, send the truck over, and they'd probably say, well, it's going to be another hour or 2. We got to cook it, and we got to get it over. Yep. Yes.
Truck gets in an accident and then doesn't get to the hospital.
Yeah. Transportation problems.
Yeah.
Reheated food doesn't taste so good.
You are 100% correct. Reheating it, maybe pizza and lasagna are really good as leftovers, but everything else, fish is horrible. You do not want to cook it, cool it, and reheat it. Does anybody know why frozen food? Let's say, who here loves to eat fish? Okay. What's your name here? All right, what's your name here?
TJ.
TJ, right? You like fish?
Yeah.
You like fresh fish, right? Do you eat frozen fish? Stuff that's been in the freezer? Why not?
I don't know. My roommate has a bag of frozen fish. And I think it's nasty, honestly.
You're right. Do you know why it's nasty? Do you know the physiology?
Well, I'm sure like a lot of the proteins break down over time. Like it just tastes bad.
Yeah, you're about 80% there. Can I tell you why? And trust me, I am not a biology guy. I'm not a food science guy, but I know enough to explain it, okay? For those of you, everyone took biology, right? You know what a cell is? All living things are made up of cells. That includes your fish, okay? And so this is a cell, and it's got all this stuff in it. I'm a terrible artist. That's what your fish is made up of. Does anybody know what over 90% of a cell's content is?
Other cells.
Water. All this stuff is floating around in water. Okay, with me so far? What happened? Okay, who takes, let's say you take your water bottle. You say, oh, I just need to cool it down real quick. You put it in the freezer and you forget about it. What happens to your water bottle?
Expands.
It explodes. Why? The water expands and it outgrows the cell, or excuse me, it outgrows the plastic and it breaks. What do you think happens to a cell that's made up of 90% water when you put it in the freezer? It breaks, and that's why fish gets mushy, right? Does anybody notice that? Frozen fish is mushy, and it smells bad. Why? Because the water in the cells, all the millions of cells, has expanded and breaks the cellular wall. And that's why it's inconsistent and mushy. Okay? Now, here's something else really interesting. If you put